Hey guys, it's Ria. What's up? I hope you're good. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to what I read in August. So I read 5 books in August, which is less than I usually read. I usually read more like 7 to 9 books, but I'll tell you why when we get there. So I started the month by rereading Sugar Daddies by Jade West. And I love this book so much. I know it seems weird to love a book that literally, like, look at the cover. But it was so great. So this book is about Katie, who is in need for money to buy the stable where her horse is, because it's about to be repossessed by the bank, and she knows the owner very well, and she's like, I'm gonna buy that back. Because her dream is to open a little riding lesson place for kids who don't have money to really go to, like, riding classes. So she gets on the Sugar Daddy app, and on there she meets Carl and Rick, who are a couple, and they're both bi, and they say that they come together or not at all. So Katie's like, you know what? Why not? We're gonna do it. Carl is very stoic and very serious, as in Rick is more of like a little hippie, artsy graphic designer dude, you know? And the relationship starts from there, and she's super attracted to both of them right away, as they are with her. And, you know, the relationship starts sexual because, you know, it's Sugar Daddy website. And basically they say they come together or not at all, and they will meet it in multiple ways, like as a couple, but also DVP style. If you do not know what DVP is, please do not look it up. It's gonna fuck up your search history. But yeah, and they have a little secret and something they really want in life, and they are scared that when she learns it, she's gonna run for the hills. Now, I'm not gonna tell you what it is because that's kind of a spoiler, but on the back it does says that, like, until Carl and Rick spill the big one, the one that sends the girl running, a whole string of them before me, running to the hills without so much as a backward glance. Maybe I should run too. Thanks, but no thanks. See you around, guys. Nice knowing you. But I'm already in way too deep for that. And they do, like, all fall in love. And there's a lot of kind of relationships in this book. So we have Katie and her father's relationship and her sister's relationship, which is something. It's intense. Kind of toxic with her sister, if I'm completely honest. And then we have Carl and Rick's relationship together. And then we have Katie with the boys together and by themselves. And yeah, I really liked it. Next up, I picked up Emily Henry's Funny Story. Now, if you know me, you know that one, I'm a romance girly, but my favorite trope is fake dating. Anytime there's fake dating anything, I'm like, yep, I need that. So when I heard what it was about, knowing that I like Emily Henry's writing, I just had to pick it up. Just like Happy Place, I haven't read it yet, but I think there's like some kind of fake dating between exes in that one. I'm not 100% sure, haven't read it yet, but this thing, okay, let's talk about that. So this story is about Daphne and Miles. Now, Daphne has left her whole world behind to be with her ex, and that included moving to this small town that she has nothing in to be closer to his family. They're engaged, and on his bachelor party, his girl best friend, who they've been friends practically their whole life, tells him she's in love with him. And what does our dude do? He's like, fuck yeah, let's go, we're together. And that leaves Daphne to scramble to move out because the house is in his name. So she ends up moving with our love interest, Miles. Miles is Petra, the best friend's ex. So they began out as roommates because they're like, yeah, we both need a place to stay. Our ex is like fucked us over. And when they receive the wedding invite for their exes, what do? They say that they're together so that they will obviously attend the wedding as a couple. And from there we have some fake dating, and of course with fake dating they end up falling in love. And I really liked this book. Miles, I love that man so much. And yeah, it's just very sweet. I also really like Ashley and her character, and also Daphne's relationship with Ashley, because as I said earlier, she has practically nothing in this town except her ex and her job at the library. And Ashley is a colleague that then turns friend, and it's just very sweet to see them together. Next, the reason I only read 5 books this month, we have Elise Kova's Duet with the Siren Duke. This is the 4th installment of the Married to Magic series. I already own the 5th, which is Dance with the Lycan Knight, I think. Something with the Lycan Knight. And this book, compared to all of her others Married to Magic series, is much thicker. And having read the whole thing, I understand why it's so thick, but there was some parts where I was like, could we skip over this? And knowing that I love Elise Kova's writing, mostly her Married to Magic series, but I've also read her Air Awaken series a couple months back, and I also loved that. That was not something I thought would happen to me, to think that. But anyways, in this book we have Victoria, who nearly dies escaping her abusive husband, and that night, as she nearly dies by drowning, a Siren Duke gives her the chance to live, but he tells her that in 5 years time she's gonna die and he's gonna come back for her. So, you know, 5 years later she is in a shipwreck, and well, the Siren Duke does come for her. And our Siren Duke is Ilrith, whose plan for Victoria is to sacrifice her to the god of death, to appease the god of death and bring peace back to his realm. Now, it was very interesting, and like the push and pull between the two of them, because they can't fall in love. She needs to let go of everything she's attached to in this life, so she can't get attached to him. And the thing is, it is a thick book. I don't mind thick books. You're gonna see with the next 2 we have on here. I don't mind thick books. But sometimes books are thicker and I'm like, did we really need all of that? Knowing what happens in the end, we did, but I asked myself that question multiple times through the book. I nearly DNF'd it, but I was like, I know that Elise Kova is not gonna let me down. So I kept pushing, and it was a good book. I did give it 3.5 because of that reason, but good book. Then, holy fuck, we have a 5-star, okay? I read Wild Love by Elsie motherfucking Silver. Now, I've read her Chestnut Spring series. I haven't read the, fuck, it's not Rose Hill, this is Rose Hill. But the other series that she has before that, I haven't read that yet, but definitely planning on to. Elsie Silver's writing, I already knew I love it. I love her stories, I love her smut, I love everything, and this was the culmination of all of that. So in this book, we have Fort Grant, who has just been nominated the world's hottest billionaire, but he doesn't give a shit about that title. All he wants is to go back to Rose Hills, where he spent his summers as a kid, and open a recording studio where artists can come in and, you know, like chill in cabins, write songs, record songs, and everything. Well, his world is turned upside down when two things happen. One, he finds out he has a child. Not because he fucked someone and left her, but because he gave sperm as a teenager to have money to go to a concert. And now that child is like, hey, my dad just died, my mom's in a deep depression, I need your help to not go in the foster care system. This is not a spoiler, it is literally in the first like couple chapters. So like that fucks up his plan, but he's like, of course I'm gonna take care of her. Like, I don't want her to be like fucked and go in the system. And then second thing that happened is that Rosie Belmont, his best friend's little sister, tornado of a woman, comes back into his life. Now, Rosie has left everything she had in Vancouver to go back to Rose Hill because she lost her job because of a touchy boss who got to HR before her after he grabbed her ass. And she left behind also a boyfriend that she feels like they're more like roommates now. And so she goes back to her hometown of Rose Hill to stay with her brother and gets away from everything. She doesn't think she's gonna run into Ford Grant. Now, Ford has been head over heels for Rosie since he was like 19 and she was 17. Maybe even a little before that, but that's when like I know for sure. Rosie has always been a little bratty to him because in her head it's like, oh, it's my older brother's best friend. I can do whatever the fuck I want. And she knew that Ford would leave everything to come get her if she was in a shitty situation. And so when they're reunited as adults, the flame just sparks right away. And, you know, Rosie needs a job. So she gets employed as an assistant business person kind of thing at Rose Hill's Record by Grant. So now they have to work together day in and day out. And yeah, it was fucking amazing. Everything about it, from the pining, the push and pull, everything, it was so fucking great. And I read it as a buddy read book club thing on Fable because I've already wanted to read it for a while, but a book club I was following just picked it up, so I was like, let's do it. And that was the best move I could think of. This was so fucking good. Okay, 5-star. This shit, yeah. Now, last thing I read in August, Change of Mood, Carnage by Chantal Tessier. Now, this is her 4th book in the Lord series. The 5th just released, like on August 30th. And I kind of want to read it, but after reading this, I'm like, I kind of don't. I'm going to tell you why, okay? Hang on. So, if you don't know, the Lords are kind of culty, if you ask me, okay? Like, rereading this after, like, while not being really into a dark romance kick, they're culty as fuck, my guy, okay? The Lords are basically a secret society at a university where if your father's a lord, you will be a lord. And lords at the university are just placed in high position of powers and basically rule over the world. Well, the US at least. And the lords have 3 years of initiation at university. It's a kill or be killed situation, and they're not allowed to fuck during those 3 years. At the end of those 3 years, they are given a chosen, which is a woman who is basically going to be their sex slave for the remainder of university, okay, for the last year. Very culty, but dark romance girlies love it, okay? I really liked the first 2 books. The 3rd one, a little less, but I also really liked it. This one, not as much. So this, we have a 2 timeline going on here. So we have at the start when they're in university, we have Ash and Saint. And Ash is Saint's chosen, but they grew up together and they're already in love with each other. Saint is one of the Spades brothers. The Spades brothers run this place called Carnage, which is basically where the lords go to get tortured until they die. Because if you break your oath as a lord, you're no longer good for society. You're just into carnage and just, you know. And one day, Ashen's world come crashing down after she, one, sees something happen in Carnage, and two, learns something. Not gonna spoil it, of course, but she learned something, and she decided she has to get the fuck out of there. And so she does. And then 4 years later, Saint finds her again and brings her back to Carnage to keep her as basically his sex slave prisoner person. And it's a dark revenge romance, just like the third book in this series was, but this one was very, very heavy on the romance. Little too heavy on it for me, so I gave it a 3.5. It was good. In this book, we have Aiden, who is like one of the other Spades brother, and I love this man so fucking much, okay? If you read it, you'll understand when I say I cried for that man, okay? He made me giggle, he made me kick my feet, and his book just came out. But after reading a certain confession we have from Aiden in this, I don't know if I want to read his, because like, I don't give a shit about his chosen. I just want to think of Aiden as is in this one. But yeah, in this one we also see Sin, which is Eastern Sinnet, which is from The Sinner, which is my favorite book in the series, and seeing Sin made me so fucking happy. So the first two books in the series are dark college romances, and then the last three, well, I think Aiden's is also, they are dark revenge romances, which I'm a little less into. So yeah, those are the 5 books I read this month. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I'll be reading more in September. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!